The Rosicrucians are one of the most fascinating and enduring esoteric movements in Western history. Their mystical and philosophical teachings, wrapped in symbolism and alchemical lore, have attracted a devoted following for centuries. The name Rosicrucian is often associated with secret societies, arcane wisdom, and mystical traditions. But its origins and beliefs are complex and multifaceted, blending elements of mysticism, Gnosticism, alchemy, and early modern science. This article explores the history, key beliefs, and influence of the Rosicrucians, as well as their impact on the development of modern Western esotericism. Origins of the Rosicrucian movement. The roots of the Rosicrucian movement can be traced back to the early 17th century in Europe, specifically in Germany. The movement first appeared in the form of a set of manifestos that were published in the early 1600s. These manifestos were both mystical and scientific in tone, blending the language of alchemy, astrology, and spiritual wisdom with the emerging ideals of Renaissance humanism and early modern science. The first of these manifestos was the Fama Fraternitatis, 1614, followed by the Confessio Fraternitatis, 1615, and the Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz, 1617. These documents were published anonymously and were purported to describe the activities of a secret society known as the Rosicrucian Order. The central figure in these manifestos was Christian Rosenkreuz, an enigmatic figure who was said to have founded the order in the 15th century, though his existence remains largely mythical. According to the manifestos, Rosenkreuz had traveled to the Near East to study alchemy and mystical practices before returning to Europe to found a secret society dedicated to esoteric knowledge, spiritual enlightenment, and the improvement of society. The publication of these manifestos sparked great interest and led to the formation of a number of Rosicrucian-inspired groups across Europe, particularly in Germany and the Netherlands. The manifestos outlined a vision of spiritual and intellectual renewal that was deeply rooted in the Renaissance's revival of ancient wisdom, but also aligned with the emerging scientific revolution of the time. The Rosicrucians were thus seen as embodying a bridge between medieval alchemical traditions and the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and scientific inquiry. Key beliefs of the Rosicrucians. At the core of the Rosicrucian teachings is a belief in the transmutation or transformation of the self, both spiritually and physically. This idea is closely tied to the mystical philosophy of alchemy, which sees the process of refining base metals into gold as a metaphor for the purification and elevation of the soul. Rosicrucians, like alchemists, believed that by engaging in a process of inner transformation, individuals could achieve enlightenment and transcend the limitations of material existence. Some of the most central themes in Rosicrucian thought include 1. Esoteric knowledge and initiation. Rosicrucians believed that true knowledge was not available to everyone, but was accessible only to a select few who were initiated into the mysteries of the universe. This knowledge was hidden in symbols, allegories, and ancient texts, and could only be understood by those who had been properly prepared through initiation. These initiates were seen as spiritual seekers who had undergone a purification process to prepare them for higher states of consciousness and mystical insight. The Rosicrucian Order, as described in the manifestos, was a secret society of intellectuals, philosophers, and mystics who shared a commitment to the pursuit of this hidden knowledge. The idea of secret societies dedicated to preserving esoteric wisdom was a recurring theme in Western mysticism, and the Rosicrucians were often portrayed as guardians of the sacred knowledge. 2. The fusion of science and mysticism. One of the most remarkable aspects of Rosicrucian philosophy is its blending of science and mysticism. The movement emerged at a time when Europe was experiencing profound intellectual and scientific change, particularly in the fields of astronomy, physics, and chemistry. Figures like Johannes Kepler, Galileo Galilei, and Isaac Newton were transforming the understanding of the physical universe, while philosophers like René Descartes were reshaping ideas about the mind and the nature of reality. The Rosicrucians embraced this emerging scientific worldview, but sought to integrate it with the mystical and spiritual traditions of the past. They believed that science, properly understood, could lead to spiritual enlightenment. Their vision of the universe was not mechanistic, as it would later be in the Enlightenment, but rather infused with a divine intelligence. They viewed the study of nature and the physical world as a means of understanding the hidden spiritual truths that governed the cosmos. The Chemical Wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz, one of the foundational texts of the Rosicrucian movement, is a mystical allegory that combines alchemical symbols and metaphysical ideas with references to natural philosophy. It suggests that the study of alchemy, chemistry, and other scientific pursuits could lead to spiritual awakening, and that the ultimate goal of science was not merely to dominate nature, but to understand the divine principles that underlie it. 3. The Philosopher's Stone and the Alchemical Tradition. Rosicrucians were heavily influenced by the alchemical tradition, which sought to uncover the secrets of nature and transform the base aspects of reality into something transcendent. In the context of Rosicrucianism, the most famous symbol of alchemical wisdom is the Philosopher's Stone, a mythical substance believed to have the ability to turn base metals into gold and grant immortality. The Rosicrucians did not only view the Philosopher's Stone as a literal substance, but also as a symbol of spiritual transformation. Just as alchemists sought to purify and transmute metals, Rosicrucians believed that individuals could purify their minds and souls, transforming base aspects of their being into divine wisdom and spiritual enlightenment. Alchemical imagery and symbolism were used in Rosicrucian teachings to convey deep, hidden truths about the nature of reality, life, and death. Many of the rituals and practices of the early Rosicrucian societies were heavily influenced by alchemical traditions, and some groups even claimed to possess knowledge of secret alchemical processes that could lead to the transmutation of physical substances. 4. Universalism and harmony with nature. The Rosicrucians saw themselves as part of a larger universal order, where humanity, nature, and the cosmos were interconnected in a harmonious system. This view was consistent with the Renaissance idea of the Great Chain of Being, which held that all things in the universe were part of a divine and natural hierarchy. The Rosicrucians believed that by understanding this natural order and aligning themselves with it, individuals could achieve both material success and spiritual fulfillment. This holistic view of the world emphasized the idea that true wisdom and enlightenment could be attained through the study of nature, the cosmos, and the inner self. The Rosicrucians advocated for a return to natural, harmonious living, and believed that humanity's spiritual and intellectual advancement would lead to the creation of a more enlightened and utopian society. The influence of the Rosicrucians. The influence of the Rosicrucian movement on Western thought and culture has been profound, even though the organization itself has remained relatively secretive throughout history. The Rosicrucians were a major influence on the development of later esoteric traditions, including Freemasonry, Theosophy, Occultism, and New Thought. Many of the ideas that emerged from Rosicrucianism, such as the fusion of science and spirituality, the importance of initiation and hidden knowledge, and the goal of personal and collective transformation, have shaped modern Western esotericism. 1. Influence on Freemasonry. Rosicrucianism had a significant influence on the development of Freemasonry, a secret society with roots in the medieval guilds of stonemasons. The rituals of the Rosicrucians were incorporated into Masonic rituals, and the symbolism of the Rosicrucian movement, such as the rose and cross, can be found in Masonic imagery. The idea of a secret esoteric knowledge that could lead to spiritual enlightenment was central to both traditions, and many Freemasons were also drawn to the teachings of the Rosicrucians. 2. Theosophy and occultism. Rosicrucian ideas about spiritual evolution, the importance of hidden knowledge, and the connection between science and mysticism had a lasting impact on later occult movements, including theosophy and anthroposophy. These movements, which emerged in the 19th and 20th centuries, shared the Rosicrucian ideal of human spiritual evolution and the quest for hidden knowledge. The Theosophical Society, founded by Helena Blavatsky in 1875, was particularly influenced by Rosicrucianism. Theosophy combined elements of Eastern mysticism, Western occultism, and Rosicrucian thought, and emphasized the pursuit of divine wisdom through esoteric teachings and spiritual practices. 3. Modern New Age spirituality. The Rosicrucian influence extends into modern New Age spirituality, which draws on a wide range of esoteric and mystical traditions. New Age teachings often emphasize personal transformation, spiritual awakening, and the pursuit of holistic well-being, themes that are deeply rooted in the Rosicrucian tradition. Modern New Age spirituality often blends concepts of meditation, energy healing, personal empowerment, and mystical teachings, many of which echo the ideals introduced by the Rosicrucians. The emphasis on spiritual knowledge being hidden or esoteric, the pursuit of inner transformation, and the idea of achieving enlightenment through both scientific and mystical exploration are concepts that resonate strongly with contemporary spiritual seekers. Additionally, many New Age teachers and authors have drawn upon the symbolism and teachings of the Rosicrucians to create frameworks for self-actualization and spiritual growth. Practices like meditation, alchemical transformation, symbolically, and a reverence for the natural world all trace their roots back to the principles that the Rosicrucian movement espoused. The legacy of the Rosicrucians. The Rosicrucian legacy continues to inspire a wide range of individuals and movements today. Although the original order described in the manifestos did not survive in the exact form outlined by the early documents, its influence permeates both the realms of esotericism and modern spiritual practices. The fundamental teachings of the Rosicrucians about the fusion of science and mysticism, the pursuit of inner knowledge, and the transmutation of the self continue to have profound cultural significance. Some modern-day organizations, such as the ancient and mystical order Rosicrucians, and the Rosicrucian Fellowship, claim to be the heirs of the original Rosicrucian movement. These groups offer spiritual teachings, mystical practices, and study materials, continuing the Rosicrucian tradition in the context of contemporary society. Despite the decline of secretive Rosicrucian orders, the movement's mystical and philosophical ideas still echo through a variety of contemporary spiritual, philosophical, and cultural practices. Concepts such as personal transformation, the integration of science and spirituality, and the understanding of the cosmos through both reason and mysticism are more relevant than ever in today's world. Conclusion. The Rosicrucians, though shrouded in secrecy, have had a profound influence on the intellectual, spiritual, and cultural development of the West. From their mystical and alchemical beliefs to their embrace of emerging scientific thought, the Rosicrucians bridge the gap between the medieval traditions of alchemy and the intellectual ferment of the Renaissance and Enlightenment. Their impact on later esoteric movements, including Freemasonry, Theosophy, and modern New Age spirituality, cannot be overstated. By advocating for a synthesis of the scientific and the spiritual, the material and the metaphysical, the Rosicrucians set the stage for much of the Western esoteric tradition that followed. Their philosophy of inner transformation, the quest for hidden knowledge, and the belief in the interconnectedness of all things continue to inspire spiritual seekers and intellectuals alike. Whether in the form of secret societies or contemporary New Age practices, the Rosicrucian legacy endures as a testament to the enduring human quest for understanding, enlightenment, and transcendence. In this sense, the Rosicrucians remain an essential part of the broader esoteric tradition, and their influence, both hidden and overt, continues to shape modern spiritual thought, inviting each generation to uncover its own paths to knowledge and transformation.